welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Nick. For this episode, um, I asked Nick if he wanted to join me. Small 5 game slate, and I thought, hey, why not bring Nick on? Usually we have kind of different thoughts, different capping strategies, so it'll provide different picks and different thoughts. I wanted to start off the show really thanking everybody. It's been a journey now. Last January is when the show first debuted, and it's been a journey. Yesterday was amazing. Hit 500 subscribers, so that's awesome. Really excited about that, and wanted to welcome everybody, all the newcomers to the show. Yeah, that's basically it. What we do, everyone that watched yesterday, um, this you didn't see a normal show. Usually we kind of look at what happened the day before and the standings and that kind of stuff. But yesterday, because I did the show at night, there was nothing really to look at. So we'll start by looking at what happened on Friday in the NHL. Islanders and the Blue Jackets, high scoring game that ended 5-4 in overtime for the Blue Jackets. New Jersey lost 5-4 to Buffalo in Buffalo. My only premium play of the day was New Jersey -1.5. I was thinking about the over. I should have just went with the over, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Arizona faces Colorado, 3-1 Colorado win. Arizona kept it pretty close for most of the game, so that's something to kind of take a look at. Nick, what are your thoughts about Friday night?
I went 2-1 on Friday night. I stayed away from that Buffalo New Jersey game, even though I did say into one of my group chats that I did not. I wasn't planning on betting it, but I think Buffalo wins that game. And usually, when I say I don't plan on betting something, but I think a team wins, they generally win. I did have the Islanders -1, which was a loser, but I did have their team total over, so I kind of split out on that game, lost the juice, and then I did have the under 6.5 with Arizona and Colorado, which little sneak peek to when we start breaking down the slate this time, we get the same matchup and I'm on the same play.
All right. We get the same matchup except in different buildings. So,
Yes.
and I think that's very important to look at as
Mm-hmm.
well. But we'll get to that game here in a bit. We'll take a look at what's happened on Saturday. Obviously, we have games that are going on right now. That's what happens when I do the show at night. But Vegas currently has a 2-1 lead over the Oilers. I'm on the over 6.5 in that game. So a 2-1 start is pretty good after the first period. Anaheim and St. Louis, 2-1 game there. Um, I said in yesterday's show that I would be taking the Blues if it was Joel Hofer in net. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's Jordan Binnington. And because of that, I stayed off. And currently, it's looking like it's a good thing that I stayed off the Blues. Philadelphia, 3-0 win against Detroit earlier on this afternoon. I had the Flyers money line as a premium play up on the site. They've dominated Detroit for many years now, 17-1. Now they're 18-1-1 in the last 20 games at home against Detroit. Um, Past history matters, and that's one of the games that proved it there. Boston continues their domination over the Tampa Bay Lightning recently with a 2-1 win. The Kraken were apparently not happy about losing in the shootout to the Nashville Predators and scored a touchdown here on the Predators in a 7-2 win. The Kings, a premium play for me up on the site today. LA money line, a nice 4-1 win over the Jets. I did have the Sharks +1.5 as a free play up on the site, but sadly an empty netter with less than a minute to go, and that play lost. The Wild with a 3-1 win over the Blackhawks. A little bit too close for comfort, in my opinion, but the final score is what ends up mattering in the end, and they got a 3-1 win. Rangers and the Panthers. I had both the Rangers money line and the over 6.5 up on the site. 4-3 Rangers win is just perfect. Gosh, both my plays and that game was just a total success. Sabres and the Islanders, 11 game winning streak at home for the Islanders against the Sabres comes to an end. All good streaks must come to an end. And that's what happened there. Going right back here to this game, the 4-3 in the Panthers game, I did say on the show yesterday that was an auto bet for me. And I don't like the words auto bet, but Rangers and Florida, when they face each other, the games go over. 15 of the last 16 meetings have gone over. So that was an over bet for me. And spoiler alert, when they face, if it's this year again, I don't think so. If not, next season, I'll be on the over in Florida and the Rangers because that's just what happens. Vancouver continues their domination over the Stars. Why Vancouver was plus 173 did not make sense to me with how they've been playing as of late. And I took them on the money line. Also had the over, which did not cash. Dallas just couldn't really get their offense going, even with, I think, 4 or 5 power plays. They only got 1 goal. Montreal and Columbus, I was on the over 6 up on the site in that one. 8-2 Montreal win. So a nice big win for the Montreal Canadiens, and it helps the Blue Jackets in the race for Bedard. So a win-win, I guess. Devils 5-3 win over the Senators. I stayed away from that game. Leaned with the draw, but ended up staying away. I had the Leafs money line, which sadly lost. It was close, but Carolina pulled away. And the final game that just ended here recently, Pittsburgh and Washington. I had Washington money line, but I also had the over 6.5. Both looked dead after the end of the second period. But the Penguins blew a lead, as they've been doing a lot recently. But Malkin, with a horrible turnover from the Capitals, Malkin was able to get the win, 4-3 win this evening. Nick, briefly, you don't have to go over everything, but what did you think about tonight's games and anything you want to say that stands out to you?
Yeah, today was a really good day. I'll just quickly go over what I had. Boston, Tampa Bay under 6 was an easy winner. Philadelphia was an easy winner. I did have the over in the Philly game as well, which lost. Predators, I don't want to talk about that one. Yeah, that New York Buffalo game, Comrie gave up 10 goals in his previous game. I had the under 6.5 in that one. That was easy. I had under 6 in Minnesota and Chicago. That was relatively easy. Had the Canucks plus 173. Yeah, I was on the same page with you there. I don't know why this team was that big of a dog, and I think this team is a bet on team for the rest of the season. This is a team that always, for whatever reason, seems to play better at the end of the season when the season's over for them. They did it last year, they did it the year before. They give Canucks fans hope going into the next season, and they suck. Columbus and Montreal over was probably one of my that was easy as well. And I was on the opposite side as you on that last game that just finished. I was on Pittsburgh. Minus 140 is what I got him at. Definitely made me a little nervous at the end there. But Malkin was able to drill it and get the job done in that game. So overall, I'm 7-2 to start the day, looking like 7-3 with that under. Not looking good in St. Louis. But yeah, looking like an awesome day right now.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll take a look here in a second up on the Picks and Parlay site on how you and Tim and how I am doing. But we'll quickly take a look at the NHL standings here. Carolina leading the Metropolitan. They are in the playoffs. And New Jersey makes their return to the playoffs after quite a few years here. The Devils have clinched a spot with 100 points. And 9 games to go. The Rangers 4 points behind them, so Rangers only 6 points out, but Carolina does have games in hand on both New Jersey and the Rangers. Boston won the Atlantic Division today with their win. They clinched the Atlantic Division, and they are going to clinch the President's Trophy in not too long. And that's not really something that I'd be all that excited about, clinching the President's Trophy, um, because most of the time the President's Trophy winner does not win the Stanley Cup. Toronto, 5 points ahead of Tampa with 2 games in hand in the Atlantic there. Islanders in the top wild card spot with 83. Pittsburgh with 82. Florida with 79. Buffalo with 76. Washington with 76. Ottawa with 75. And then the bottom feeders of the Eastern Conference. Moving on along to the Central. I'm happy with Dallas Stars' loss. Minnesota will end the night. There's been times where they've led the division, but usually by the end of that night, Dallas
wins, yeah.
retakes the lead, but not today. The Dallas Stars lost. Minnesota won. Colorado, even if Colorado wins tomorrow, Minnesota will still be leading the Central Division going into next week. Without Kirill Kaprizov, Minnesota continues to find ways to win.
Also, Minnesota gets Colorado on Wednesday.
Yeah, big 4 games against playoff teams coming up for Minnesota here. Vegas currently leading against Edmonton. Obviously, the results of that game is going to be huge in the Pacific Division race here. Edmonton 6 points behind Vegas. LA 2 points behind Vegas. That's going to be a very important game for the Pacific Division. Seattle in the top wildcard spot. Winnipeg in the second. Calgary and Nashville 4 points behind for Calgary. 5 points behind for Nashville. 3 games in hand for the Predators. So if the Predators can get their act together and win a couple games, they're right in it.
Yeah.
Right in the race. Vancouver is not. After that, after Nashville, there's a drop off here. Vancouver, St. Louis, Arizona, kind of in the middle, murky middle, and then the bottom 3 of the Western Conference. We will take a quick look at picks and parlays up on the site. Yesterday, which is the last 24 hours, Earl Sports Bets 9-2 up $776. So basically, that's $100 a unit. You're up 7.76 units yesterday. Number 1 last 7 days, 14.44 units. I am down here in 4th, but not too far off from getting up to 2nd here over the last 7 days. I'm number 2 last 30 days. Things have been just going well. So if you want to get my premium plays, or if you want to get Tim and Nick's premium plays, you can get them here at Picks and Parlays. You can also get them at earlsportsbets.com. The link for either site is in the description below. I think that's all, and we'll just jump into the first game here. So this will be the first game tomorrow afternoon. Colorado Avalanche, Arizona Coyotes. Colorado minus 290 to minus 350. Arizona plus 213 to plus 270. 6.5s right across the board here in this one. Nick, I'll let you start off. What do you think here? Avalanche and Coyotes.
Yeah, this is thanks to BetOnline, the only line I currently have available to me at the moment. And I bet it. I saw value in a number here. So if you guys are going to go over to the Earl Sports YouTube channel, Earl Sports Bets YouTube channel, you don't really need to watch that video because this is the play I'm going to give out. Under 6.5 in this one here. I have this game projected 3.15 to 2.43 in favor of the Avalanche, and 5.57 projected goals in this game for me. And when we look at it here, I'll use a little bit of Terry's history numbers here for this one. When we look at the last 6 meetings between the Colorado Avalanche and the Arizona Coyotes, 5 of them have gone under the total of 6.5. So these two teams have been playing towards the unders as of late, and Arizona plays this team tight. Arizona's won 3 of the last 6 matchups, even though Colorado has been in the minus 200, 300, 400, 500, 700 range in some of those games. Arizona's just played them tough for whatever reason. I think this is a very dangerous matchup for Colorado. I would lean towards Arizona in this game if I had to bet a side. Obviously, if you guys know me, I don't lay puck lines and I don't lay minus 290 chalk. That's just not something I do. So obviously, it's Arizona or nothing on the price here for me. I did play the under 6.5 though in this game at minus 115.
All right. Um, yeah, for me in this on the total, um, I have a tough time taking the Avalanche under, just because they do have an offense that can explode, and also they can have questionable goaltending. But I could see it going under as well. So no real opinion for me on the total. But Arizona here, the +1.5 is plus money for the Yotes. As Nick said, these teams tend to play close games. Yes, the Avalanche won 3-1 in the previous meeting here in Colorado, but you have to look at this Coyotes team. They don't win on the road. They just don't. I think it's double digits on how many road games they've lost in a row. They just don't win on the road, but they do at home. They've won their last 6 home games in a row. These teams just faced each other. Revenge factor. Colorado on the road. Uh, I think Arizona puts up a really good fight in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if we get overtime. But I'm going to take Arizona +1.5 because it's plus money. I think the Yotes have a chance in this one. But I won't be surprised if this game goes to overtime, and Colorado wins. So I'll take the plus money with the +1.5 here for the Yotes. Um, no player props as of right now for Sunday. The sides and totals went great for me today on Saturday, but player props did not. I got absolutely murdered in player props today. So that's going to happen sometimes. That's just what happens. But I'm going to be taking Arizona +1.5. Yeah.
Also, one more stat I wanted to bring up because you were mentioning how it's tough to take Colorado unders. Actually, I was looking it up here. There's the Winnipeg Jets who are 20 overs and 49 unders. The next best under team in the NHL is the Colorado Avalanche, 26 overs and 40 unders this season. So actually, the Colorado Avalanche have been one of the best under teams in hockey this year.
Yeah, it was just that one stretch, which I think it was like 6 or 7 games where they were giving up a lot of goals, which is what kind
Yeah.
of scared me
Mm-hmm.
off them. But yeah, overall this season they've had trouble scoring at times, so
And that was when
that's
they were
happened.
missing half their lineup, when they were missing McCarr and Manson and McKinnon and all that. They played more defensive style hockey. So this team has learned to play defense.
Yeah. We'll move on along to the second game here. And we have a close one here. So the first game we talked about, we had a huge favorite and a big dog, but not here in this one. Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes. Boston -102 to -120. Carolina -102 to -118. Sixes. I see a couple 5.5s in this game here. Boston's won 6 games in a row. They've allowed 2 or less goals in all 6 games. Um, they just continue to roll. They continue to roll, this Bruins team, and I have no intention of stepping in front of them. Um, However, I'm not going to be backing them here in this spot. Carolina's won the last 6 home games against Boston. Um, Carolina 4-4 in their last 8. Not a team I want to back. I'm actually looking to fade Carolina, for the most part, after losing Svechnikov, having trouble scoring. But recently, they've actually been going over their last few games. Their last 4 of their last 6 games have actually gone over. So this game is it's tough. It's a pick 'em for a reason, I think. I think either team can win this game. Just this is a very heavy home series. The home team usually does well. So it would be a lean with the Carolina Hurricanes, but uh, I'm not fading the Bruins. I won't do it. Nick, Bruins, Hurricanes. What do you think in this one?
Actually, I had a slightly towards the opposite direction with the total in this one. If I can get a 6, I'm going to look at taking this game under the total. And this is something I've kind of been looking. I wish I had access to BetSafe so I can grab that 6.5. Unfortunately, I think that's the only book that's offering 6.5. But if I can get a 6, I'll most likely grab this game under the total. I'm looking at this game. I have this game projected for 5.64 goals, so it's slightly in that way. Don't know if it'll be enough for me to go ahead and bet the game. I am interested in Boston at this price because I mentioned this a while ago that I thought maybe betting against Boston would be profitable the rest of the season because after they've clinched the playoff spot, after they've wrong, wrong. This team is not doing what I thought they would. They're not taking their foot off the pedal. They are just continuing to demolish teams. So this is definitely Boston or nothing at this price tag. I just don't think the risk reward is worth it trying to fade Boston at a pick'em price. So this is a spot here for me where if I can get a 6.5, I would be in love with that play with the under. But with the 6, I'll probably still look that way. And I'm probably going to look to backing Boston in this game, even on a second half of a back to back. Both teams are on back to backs. I think Swayman's a much better goaltender than Anderson. Anderson, I think his good numbers are just a result of the defense in front of him. And Swayman's actually, his advanced stats are actually very good. So I'm definitely going to look towards the Bruins in this spot with the goalie advantage, with the overall team advantage. And then probably if I can get a 6 at a decent price, I'm going to look towards under in this game.
All right. And to be fair, the Bruins did when they did clinch, they did lose, I think, 3 of 4, and they kind of
Yes.
looked like they were going to take. So your thoughts about them taking their foot off the gas? It did look like that's what was happening,
Yeah.
but then that just switched. Something switched, and they've gone back to winning
Yeah.
games. So we'll go on along to our third game here. Again, two more teams that are on back to backs. A lot of teams are on back to backs. I think the only teams that are not is Colorado and Arizona.
Yes.
Every other
That's why
team,
that's the only line available to me at the moment.
yeah, there you go. Vancouver Canucks -1, 59 to -170 or -182. Chicago +130 to +146. 6.5s right across the board here. Vancouver's won 9 of their last 11 games, 9-2 in their last 11. And as Nick said, they're playing great hockey when it doesn't really matter. And Bedard, hometown guy from Vancouver, and Vancouver's just played, and that's where he wants to go. Bedard, he said that that's where he wants to go, but he won't be going there unless some crazy trade or something happens.
Or somehow they win the
Like,
lottery at what, 3%?
yeah, I think they. I think I don't. I don't think I remember they changed the rules. I don't want to be positive
You
on
can
this,
only move up
but
12 spots or something like that. So
yeah, like there's a possibility that they might not even be in the range for Bedard. But Chicago is, and they're trying to get him. They're trying to get him. I would rather they didn't, but that's a whole other story for a whole other time.
not going to open up this
Blackhawks
can
have
of worms.
lost.
Nope.
Yeah, the Blackhawks have lost 4 games in a row, all by multiple goals. As I said, um, they're just not a very good team at all. Even against Minnesota here on Saturday night, it was 1-1 with I think a minute to go. So it kind of looked like it was going to be a close game going to overtime. But Ryan Hartman said, no, 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 no. And then the empty netter. Um, I like the Canucks here. 5-1-1 in their last 7 trips to Chicago. Just playing great hockey. Demko won't be in net for this one. It'll most likely be Colin Delia. He won his last game, a 2-1 game, his last time out. Uh, they also had another goalie, Artur Silvos. I don't know if he got sent back down to the
I
AHL.
think he did.
Uh, yeah, I'm not 100% positive, but really, whoever Vancouver has in net, and actually Colin Delia played for Chicago, so
Mm-hmm.
there's that factor too, the revenge factor. I like the Canucks here in regulation -110. I like them on the puck line as well, plus money. Chicago's been losing by 2. I think the Canucks get a win here. Something like maybe a 4-2 type of win. Nick, Canucks, Blackhawks. Are you taking the? I was going to say big underdog Blackhawks, but they aren't really that big of an underdog here. What
No,
do you
they're
think of
not.
this one?
I'm gonna probably continue to ride with the team I've been riding a little bit lately. When within price range, I've been betting this team a little bit lately. It's the Canucks. Yeah, I'm gonna be on Vancouver in this game. Minus one is probably where I'm going to be going with this, which will probably be looking like it. Even money to minus 110. I think that's a very affordable price tag for this team playing Chicago. Whether it's Demko on a back to back or Delia, it's most likely Delia. It's any of those goalies are better than what Chicago is going to have in net. Because did you see who's the likely goaltender for tomorrow for the Blackhawks? That'll be Antoine Hudobin. Antoine Hudobin is likely for this game, and he looked horrible in his first start. He looked like he wanted Bedard in his first start, the way he played. Uh, and with that being said, this one's a pretty simple play for me. Canucks minus one, probably anywhere from even money to minus 110 when I get around to betting it. When the line's available to me tomorrow morning, I'm going to definitely be on the Canucks here.
All right. And maybe just for the viewers for clarification, do you take an actual minus one or do you split half on the puck line, half on the money line?
I use a minus one calculator, which I can send you the link to put in the link in the description. That will you'll put in your bet amount and it'll tell you how much to bet on what thing in order to where if they win by one, you push basically. So I will send you the link to that minus one calculator and it'll be in the link in the description below for people who are interested most likely. But
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
I use a calculator for it. It's a split bet.
Okay. Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Yep.
Because I think there are some books that do have a minus one line.
Yeah, there are some. Mine does not, so I have to use the calculator. I believe like BetMGM has one. I believe Pinnacle you can
Yeah,
bet minus ones. There's some books that allow you to do it.
yeah, for sure. Well, we have two games left, then we'll get to the best bet segment, and I'll explain the best bet segment for all the viewers that are watching. But Toronto Maple Leafs, Nashville Predators, Toronto minus 165 to minus 194, Nashville plus 130 to plus 160, 6.5s right across the board here. Nick, what do you think in this one, Leafs and Preds?
I'm seeing projected goaltenders Kevin Lankinen and Justin Wool. I don't think Samsonov's going to be available because his wife is having giving birth to their kid. I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but it's most likely going to be Wool in net tomorrow for the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs traveling from Carolina to Nashville in this game. I think we have a live underdog in this one here. And if for people who maybe don't want to take the full game for Nashville here, can take the first period. One thing is Nashville just got the crap beaten out of them against Seattle today, and I probably look for them to bounce back in this next game. And Lankinen has not been bad this year when he has been in net for Nashville. Nashville has had pretty good goaltending, all things considered. Just they've struggled to score offensively. I also kind of lean towards the under in this game, especially if you're going to get a 6.5. I could definitely see the under in this matchup. I have this game projected for around 5.97 goals, but I think we do have a very live underdog here with Nashville in this spot. It's an out of conference game, so maybe you can see a draw in this one as well. Two teams. Nashville needs points. Toronto looking to hold off Tampa Bay for the 2 seed there. I can see this game definitely opposite conferences. I can see this one becoming a draw. I think Nashville is very live in this game, though.
Interesting. Well, finally, me and Nick disagree, and
Yes, disagreement.
usually it happens a lot more often than today. But I like the over in this one.
Mm,
Toronto, 8 of their last 9 games have gone over. Um, they are allowing goals, but they're scoring goals as well. Nashville has gone over 6.5 in 3 of their last 4 games. Lankinen looked awful in his last start. Saros got lit up today. Um, Neither goaltender has looked good lately. Nick is right. Lankinen, for the whole season, has played much better than expected, and he's done very well. But lately, not so much. Toronto 4-2 in their last 6 trips to Nashville, 7-3 in the last 10 meetings. I think Toronto probably wins, but It would have to be a parlay piece with the money line because I'm not taking them on the puck line, but I will take the over in this one. You can get over 6 at North Star for minus 122. That's where I go. But if you have to take the over 6.5, you're getting plus money for it. I like it. Both teams are trending heavily to the over right now in this one. But we'll move on along to the final game here. One of these teams, St. Louis Blues, are playing as we speak. The other one, LA Kings, played in the afternoon. So they'll be a little bit more rested than this Blues team. Although the Blues are playing in Anaheim right now, so it's not like they have to travel
Yeah.
far in this one. But St. Louis plus 160 to plus 175, LA minus 200 to minus 222, 6.5s right across the board in this one here. The Blues 3-2-1 in their last 6 games, obviously not including the game against Anaheim. 5 of their last 7 have gone over 6.5. This LA Kings team 9-0-2 in their last 11 games. They are since the trade deadline. This LA team has looked scary good. 9-0-2 in their last 11. Their last 7 wins all have been by multiple goals. So they're not really winning games close. Their last 7 wins all by multiple goals. LA 4-0-1 in the last 5 at home against the Blues. So they've had success against the Blues. Most likely it'll be Joel Hofer in net for the Blues in this one against the Kings. He has played well. He has, but this Kings team is too hot. I got to take them here on the puck line, plus 125. I think the Kings take it to the Blues. I don't think it's a crazy like a 6-1 win or anything like that. It's probably going to be a 2 goal, maybe a 3 goal win, but I like the Kings here. They've just been playing really well lately. Nick, Blues, Kings. I know you've definitely liked to bet on the Blues in the past, and I think you've got some futures on this Kings team. What do you think here, Blues and Kings?
I think the Kings have kind of grabbed the torch from the Blues for me from last year, becoming like one of my favorite Western Conference teams. To now, it's the LA Kings and somewhat the Avalanche with my futures. I really like this Kings team. I really don't like this price. I know minus 200. I saw that. I was like, ugh. So I'm not going to back that there. I do think this is a game where the Kings probably win 3-1, 4-1, something along those lines. I think offensively they shut down the Blues, who have averaged 2.46 expected goals for the last 10 games or 9 games. My bad. I don't have the numbers for this Anaheim game, which is currently 3-2 in the second period. So that's not looking particularly great for me. But I am looking a little bit the under in this game. I have this game projected for 5.5 goals, 5.49 goals. So I am kind of interested in the under here in this spot. I think the Kings defensively can shut down the Blues, and maybe the only thing I'm truly worried about is the Kings putting up 5 goals. But I can see this being a 4-1, 3-1 type of game where the Kings defensively shut it down and offensively just do enough to win this game by a couple goals. I think the Blues kind of struggle in this matchup here. I do like the Kings, just not the price, but I probably will look at the under 6.5 here.
All right. We will go to the best bet segment. So I will take us out here. So for everyone, the best bet segment, how it works is obviously I give my best bet on the show, and Nick will, since he's on the show now. And normally Monday to Friday, it's a live show. So everybody just that's watching live puts their best bet in. If you want to wait till later on in the day, that's fine as well. But basically, the best bet segment is kind of to interact with everybody. So it's a for fun competition. There's no prizes or anything like that. It's kind of just for bragging rights. And basically, I will bring it up here and we'll look at what happened on Friday. Let me take this up. So, Friday on the best bet segment, I went with Barrett Hayden over half a point, which sadly did not cash. IceX went with Pierre Enval and Dylan Cousins anytime goal. He got Dylan Cousins but he did not get Pierre Engvall. Nick went with the Islanders team total over 3.5, which cashed. I think they scored 4. Yeah, they scored 4. Tim went with Texas Longhorns minus 4.5, which cashed. Kev Cook went with Alabama minus 7.5, which did not. They ended up losing as a big favorite there. Captain Bry went with Nick Savvy, but that's how he was
Oh yeah,
on the other side.
I had SDSU that game.
There you go. Captain Bry went with New Jersey money line, Arizona plus 3.5. The Devils just didn't show up against the Sabres. Crystal went with the over 6 and Columbus, New York Islanders. She could have went with over 7.5, over 8.5. And she was good with that one. Richie went with Keller and Dobson, both over half a point. Dobson made it close. It took to the end, but he did get it. So Richie won that. We will take a look also at what happened today in the best bet segment. As I said, this is new, doing the show on Saturday and Sunday and doing it at night. So bear with me, but everything is more normal, I guess you could say, during the week. But for me, broke the losing streak here with the best bet with the Rangers Florida over 6.5. Richie went with Pavelski, Ben anytime goal parlay, which did not cash. Crystal went with Boldy over 3.5 shots on goal. An off night for Boldy. He got 2 shots. The Wild just didn't really. It was kind of more of an even game than I expected. So the Wild didn't completely outshoot the Blackhawks. Ice went with Tampa Bay in regulation, Philadelphia minus 1.5. He got the Philadelphia minus 1.5, but Tampa Bay lost. Melissa went with Toronto money line and New York Rangers money line. She got the Rangers money line, and Toronto was tied there in the third, but Carolina came back and won. And then Kev Cook went with Vancouver Canucks money line plus 160, and they won. So I will bring up the current standings here for the month of March. So the month of March isn't looking too good. February went really well. The month of March overall not looking the best, but it'll be a new month coming up soon here. And Crystal has done well all month long. So great job to Crystal and to everybody else. It happens. It happens. Nick can definitely testify to the fact that you can have a great night and go 7-2, and sadly, one of those twos is your best bet. And it doesn't just happen to Nick; it happens to a lot of us. So best bets aren't the be all end all. You have to listen to all the bets because
Yeah,
we
one
have
day I
one.
did go 9-3, and my best bet lost.
Yeah, so that's just what happens. It is what it is, obviously. But going to today, so everybody that's watching this, obviously this show is not live. So if you want to put your best bet in, as you can see, it's still anyone's game for the month of March. If you want to be in the top 3, and then how it looks here, we have the monthly champs. The top 3 for each month will be on here, and we'll look at it every once in a while. So if you want to join in, feel free. For me, my best bet for tomorrow, I'm going to stick with single bets. The odds have to be minus 150 or better for best bets. And you can do a parlay, only 2 teamers though, nothing crazy. Any of the main sports are okay. For me, Vancouver in regulation, minus 110. Nick, you're going with
Colorado, Arizona under 6.5.
minus 115. All right. And that is it. That is the show for tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, Nick. Tell people. If I can
Words.
pronounce it correctly, yeah, words. Tell people where they can find you if they want to find you.
Yeah, Earl Sports Bets on YouTube. We do a show every single morning, anywhere between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go over hockey, NBA. We're going to be doing baseball soon, getting ready for baseball season. So that's always fun. And then if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll post all my plays on Twitter at Nicholas_Earl. if you want to follow me there for all my plays as well.
Okay. And if you want to get his plays, his premium plays, you can get them at roadsportsbets.com and picksandparlays.net. But that is the show. Best of luck to everybody. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you coming on in. Hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. Appreciate all the support. And we'll see you again. Everything back to normal Monday morning or Monday afternoon, I guess you could say, to 12:30 p.m. Eastern for Getting Well with Terry. Free NHL picks. Best of luck, guys.